Aha.
That's pretty good, mate.
Nice.
Right. So could you do like your do you remember your classic phrase that you'd use to do level testing for your noise?
Oh, is this orange pineapple?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't actually looking at the levels. Could you do that again, please?
Orange pineapple.
Oh, that's not too bad. In fact, you're actually probably quieter for me than you are for the people on the stream, so they can probably hear you now. So that's pretty good. I'll just turn you up on my old phone heads, and then I'll be able to hear you well, and everyone will be able to hear you in the same volume. In that time, we've got some.
That was such a throwback, mate. I completely forgot.
I know, I'd completely forgotten, and then suddenly I realised, like, I'm going to ask mate to say something so is it the right volume, and then I was like, hang on, I've done this before. There we go. We've got a daily dose of bits from a wowwhee. So we say wowwhee for 20 bits. Thank you. Who are you talking to? That's a good question. What's sorry, mate?
It's me.
It's you, mate. Who are you then? Well, not who are you. Obviously, it's the internet. We shouldn't be revealing ourselves. But where do I know you from?
From school, mate.
That's absolutely right. So, mate went to my secondary school. Not sure why. What were you doing there, mate?
Stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And in year 8, we shared an English class. And since then, we've been calling each other mate. And that is the end of the story. That is about as far as it goes. So, yeah.
I'd love to cheer, mate, but unfortunately, I only have 8 bits, and I need at least 10 bits to cheer.
That's all right, mate. Don't worry. I did you hear about the fact that you can watch ads for bits if you're in desktop on America?
It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I know. You need to be in the America, mate.
What?
And VPN doesn't seem to work either. It's miserable because, you know, there's someone who's been repeatedly watching ads for bits, mate. They're called I am TKO3. And in the donation leaderboard, they're above, like, loads of people who've spent actual money in donating just by repeatedly watching these ads. Like, ads for bits are a powerful and brilliant way to donate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to mix you up a bit louder, mate, because people are saying you're a bit quiet there.
Well, currently, mate, I'm using a headset mic, but it's not a headset that I'm wearing.
Ah.
Because my headset mic is broken a while ago, and recently my mic that I have been using also broke.
Oh, dear.
But luckily I found a headset on the floor, and I can't hear through it, but I can speak through it, so that's good.
Oh, well, that's all right, mate. Yeah. DJ says, I'm offended. No reason to be, DJ. You are top of the leaderboard currently. Seeming as people have been asking, I will have a look at my amazing Google Sheets leaderboard that I have to keep fighting with. By fighting, I mean column alignment is my enemy currently. I have columns set to automatically align a certain way, but it doesn't care. It does what it wants. It just puts names in random places. Bane of my life. Slightly first world problem, but really annoys me. Anyway, first at the moment is DJ, followed by Mini MG, Icicle Death, 8742, and then I am TKO3 just by ads for bits. And there's been a lot of donators. So it's pretty exciting. And what happened to your name? I can't even see it. Matt6478, whose name is literally invisible, asks where they are on the leaderboard. You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th currently. Congratulations. So yeah, there we go. Wait, I thought DJ and I are tied. I don't believe so. I don't wish to throw shade on you, but you're actually quite far behind DJ. DJ has donated in terms of what I have received, almost double what you have. So yeah, I probably have started some sort of shade there. But yeah, I was recently talking to mate, and telling him how I recently had a lecture when there was made reference, because it was a brief mention of documentary films, and for some reason a very popular one is also a book that Mate and I studied in that English class where we first met, and so I thought Mate would find that interesting, and he did. It was a classic time. Touching the Void, it was called, and yeah, it was. It wasn't good fun because it wasn't particularly enjoyable to read, but Mate was good fun. So that's all you need, really. You just need someone to get you through it.
Mm.
So, Mate, how have you been in these spooky days?
I've been okay, mate.
Oh, right, I see you. Oh, yeah, no, hang on. You were saying I've been okay, mate, but
Yeah.
it sounded like the way you sort of used your intonation there, mate. It was like I've been okay, mate. Like you're sort of gonna launch into saying something like, "Okay, mate. Well, it's not been great so far, but actually you were just saying I've been okay, mate." So I just wait for a few seconds afterwards. It's just a deadly silence. It's like, mate, why aren't you saying something? I've finished what I had to say there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
How
Okay.
have you been, mate?
How have I been? That's a good question, mate. I've been all right. Unfortunately, mate, I in my nap today, my nap went on a lot longer than I wanted it to. I must have slept through the alarm, which is annoying because my nap ended up being quite long, and so I didn't get as much work done as I wanted to. But I did find out today that a video that I'd set myself a sort of deadline for, the deadline doesn't matter anymore. Actually, because of all the sort of coronavirus stuff. It was to coincide with an event, but that's sort of no longer happening now. So, so I've got more time to make that. So I like that. And other than that, I have been doing a little bit of reading. Actually, the university reading I'm doing at the moment, mate, is quite a good one. It's quite interesting. It's talking all about sort of pilot episodes for TV programs, but you know, sort of the different purposes that they fulfill. And you know, luckily, I always sort of crusade with academic writings to make sure that they're something anybody could read, because actually, surely the thing that you're doing is advancing knowledge, but you don't need to do it in such a way that people can't understand what you're saying. I just think it's snobby and hard to read if you do that. And this person has written quite nicely indeed, so they've been enjoyable to read. Salty Side says Hazbin Hotel, which is actually a lot of alliteration in that sentence I've just said. But yeah, have you seen Hazbin Hotel, mate?
What is it, mate? I've heard of Habbo Hotel.
I don't know. Well, so Hazbin Hotel, mate, is I got shown it by somebody at university. Actually, it's a YouTube series, but like animated properly and professionally, and you know, by people who know what they're doing. And I quite enjoyed it. You know, the person who showed it to us at university is actually, you know, usually in my opinion has quite a bad taste in television and stuff like that. I mean, they like something on Netflix called Big Mouth, which I think is just an absolutely disgusting program. But there we go. You know, there are occasionally funny moments in it, but largely dreadful. And those American laugh track sitcoms that I don't particularly enjoy either. So I didn't have much hope for Hazbin Hotel when they showed us it. But actually, I enjoyed it very much. What I like about it is that it's sort of just within the fun bounds of crudeness, and it has emotional weight to it. It's nicely animated. It's got some interesting characters in it as well, with some lovely voices. I mean, my favourite one is the radio demon, because he speaks like 1940s radio. So like, you know, the sort of the muffle and crackle, but like that's just how he speaks all the time, and it sounds unnatural, but at the same time really quite interesting. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it very much. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised by that. And I guess the Hazbin Hotel that's been up is a pilot for it. I don't know how many episodes there'll eventually be, but yeah, I guess that's why it was brought up here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, I think you might quite like it, mate. I think you might. I know you don't tend to do the old TV, but it's technically not television, so maybe maybe you can give it a go. Um, is the mate thing a joke on Australians always saying it, or just something else? No. I mean, mate is a British thing as well. I'm not going to try and tread on Australians' toes here, but we do use the word mate, although I guess usually tend to pronounce the T a little bit more. I guess that's the only difference. But I mean, I don't because I'm lazy. I just say mate, like M and then 8. I don't know where it came from, mate. Did we just started calling each other mate, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know why.
And then we forgot each other's names and have just been calling each other mate since then. So yeah, it's not really a pastiche or a parody on anything at all. And so it's just been what we call each other. There was one time. I mean, I really enjoyed the times where David, mate, and I are able to like all coalesce together and play Mario Kart and things like that. One of those times, David started calling mate, and mate was like, "You're not my mate. You can't call me mate." Like we've sort of got a two-person clique here as sort of the only people who can call each other mate. Yeah. Now I say that out loud, it just sounds quite cruel. But
if anyone else does it, it's cringe. When we do it, it's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Everything we say is cool. That is true, actually. So, how long have you got left in your university term now, mate?
I think this would be my last week of lectures, and then I've got a week, and then my exam starts on the 11th of May.
Ah, that's interesting, mate. Luckily, I don't have any exams. Pretty spicy. Wow. Yeah, pretty good fun.
We our exams are open book, which is nice.
So, well, yeah, that's good. I mean, that's the only way they can really do it, isn't it? They can't tell you to do it closed book and be like, please don't look on the internet, because they can't really do anything about it, can they? Is this where the sophomore meme came from? No, that was Battle Cats event stage. This is actually something that relates to Battle Cats, which some of you will be so glad to hear. That it was an event stage, and it was some such thing, probably the thing with Chick-fil-A in it, and it was school related. And anyway, it said sophomore in it. I hadn't seen the word before. I assumed it was Italian, and it went from there. Oh, speaking of that, mate, have you seen my animation work?
No, mate. Where would I find that?
Oh, Power Pro collab. That's what it was. Thank you for reminding me. So, mate, it's called Sophomore Year, and it's on my channel currently. I'd love to hear your live thoughts on it. It's
here, I never noticed this.
Yeah, I didn't notify subscribers because it's a little bit bad.
Oh, okay. Right, I'll watch it now, mate.
Excellent.
I like the American accent, mate.
Oh, I appreciate that, mate. Or should I say, howdy, mate? I gosh darn appreciate that.
yeah, mate.
Those animations should have been at Disney. No, honestly, like I see things done well, like animation in like Gravity Falls or whatever, and I think, oh, I want to have a go at that. I want to try it. I want to feel less inept. And then when I try it, I realise how rubbish I truly am. And that's a showcase of that. No, I don't think I have a career as an animator lined up somehow, but it was certainly interesting to do. epic mouth movements in that animation as well. I mean, I've mastered speech animation. It's not like I've just animated an opening and closing of a mouth and repeated that.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Still, you know, it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. Right. So when there are like no topics to talk about in chat, I actually started writing a list called things to talk about so that conversation doesn't dry up. But before thank you, mate. Before I resort to that list, do you have anything that you'd like to talk about, mate?
Well, I was thinking about talking about the fact that recently I've been playing Valorant, mate.
Oh, tell me about that, mate, because I don't know anything about that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, first thing to tell you, mate, is that I don't think you'll like it at all.
All right, okay.
Because, I mean, maybe you will. It's free, so you might as well give it a try. But you probably won't like it. It's a bit like CS:GO, I guess, with abilities, except the abilities are nothing like the abilities in Overwatch, because you can't really use them in the middle of combat, or you'll just kind of die, because you'll just get killed. There's a lot of like smokes. It's quite tactical and stuff.
That sounds like it requires skill, mate. I don't think that would be my kind of game.
Yeah, it does. That's why I said you wouldn't like it. XD.
Brilliant. Speaking of Overwatch then, mate, I was familiar with the fact that a new hero was introduced after I stopped playing it, but I don't actually know who that is. So if you could like educate me on what happened in Overwatch since I stopped playing it, which was I think at the end of Overwatch League 1 Overwatch League ago, so not the most recent one, the one before that, I think. You know, the one that I made clear to you that I was watching whenever that was. What happened in Overwatch after that, both in the game at large and your playing of it?
Oh my god! Wait. So are you talking about the first season, mate?
I think it was the first season, yeah.
Yeah. So you haven't played.
Although, actually, mate, I'm not sure. Like, did the first season it lasted a long time, didn't it? Overwatch League. Yeah, it probably was just the first season then.
Yeah. So the last time you played was like summer 2018, was it? Something like that. So there've been quite a few heroes since then, mate.
It's possible that it was back that far, yeah.
So let me think. Have you heard of the hero that's a hamster, mate?
See, I heard about that, but I stopped playing as it came out. Like, it's called... Hang on, I'm going to try and remember this. It's called... The Gremlin Head.
No, it's called Wrecking Ball.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't it have a name, like a normal name as well? Hammond, that's it. That's what I was thinking of, yeah. I don't know why the Gremlin Head is like Hammond, but there we go. Yeah, I was familiar with that. And was that hero number 27? Is that correct?
I don't know, mate.
Because do you remember when we used to watch Dino Flask videos?
Yeah, mate, I still do.
Classic. And
yeah,
I distinctly remember one about Jeff talking about how the 27th hero would be Jeff. And his ultimate ability would be to just win the game. Which was good fun.
Yeah, so we had Wrecking Ball, who is kind of fun. He's got like a grappling hook, and like you can grapple onto wall. You can like roll around in your ball, and if you grapple onto walls, you can like build up speed and like knock around the enemies and stuff.
Ooh.
Except I always mess up the grapples. So yeah, there's that guy.
Yeah.
Ash is a new hero.
Uh-huh.
Who's kind of like a cowboy, like McCree.
No, wait, hang on. Yeah. I wasn't playing Overwatch at that point, but I'm familiar with Ash. She's like a sort of a McCree alternative, right?
Yeah, or
And
like Widow Alternative.
and her ultimate ability is saying, "Stop it, get some help," and then a robot comes along and helps her, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I
She
remember
says-
being, it's something like that. Bobby, help me, you.
Yeah, Bob, do something.
Bob, do something. That's it. Yeah, because I remember being told about this by someone at college back then, who played a bit of the old Overwatch. But yeah, I must have played it very occasionally at that point. Then I don't know, maybe, but like not properly. I mean, by the time I realised a game where it requires skill and accuracy is just not one that I'm going to find enjoyable. So I thought I'd spend my time doing something else. Though it really feels like and before we talk about the rest of Overwatch, actually, mate, this is something that I haven't written on my things to talk about list, but it's something I wanted to ask you about, mate. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are saying, now that we're all sort of indoors and, corona lockdown, that people have a lot more time on their hands and they're, watching loads of different streaming service programs and reading books, writing books, doing PhDs in their spare time, whatever, because they've got so much time on their hands now. I really don't feel like that myself. I really feel like there isn't much time in a day, and I really feel like I don't get much done, probably because half my day is spent making a tea before I do something else and then procrastinating. But I just really feel like my days are short and I can't get nearly what I want to get done in the day done. Are your days feeling long or short?
Maybe. I don't know. I suppose I have more time, a little bit, but not really much more time, because I still had to be doing lectures and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I don't think I really feel like...
Because my issue is that I don't reckon my days feel short because I'm productive. I really don't feel like that's the case because I'm not very productive. So there must be something that I'm really doing especially badly to make my days feel so short and yet not achieve all that much. And
depends what you mean by productive, mate. Because if you mean like doing work, then I've definitely not been doing as much work as I should have been.
Well, no, mate. I mean, like doing things, right? Work is definitely
doing our thing.
Definitely a part of that. But I mean, like the definition of a day productively spent for me is where I reach the end of the day and think about something that I did during that day, usually near the start of it, and I think, did I not do that yesterday? That feels like a long time ago. And I almost never feel like that. So I feel like I just must not be being particularly productive.
Okay. See, the thing for me is because I always do the same things every day. I think of something I did earlier today, and I think, yes, I did do that yesterday.
Yeah. That is true, actually. I mean, the streaming at this time does solidify my bedtime routine, definitely. It's stream, stop streaming, faff about, YouTube, faff about, ow, my headphones are hurting my ears, bed.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. And I just wish I could get more done.
I do feel like my days are kind of blending into one. Like, I lose track of what day of the week it is, but I suppose that's just always what happens when you're not at school or uni.
Yeah, exactly. Your days feel short because you're making premium content. I thank you, and I'd love that to be true, but it's just not. I just think I need to. I think what helps with it actually is doing things you don't like for a given length of time, because that, I don't know, that really makes me feel like I've done something, and I guess I just need to do more of that. In fact, like setting yourself timers to do things for is rewarding. Like, I felt reasonably happy coming to this stream, apart from not having to bow to the angry wishes of impatient people saying, why haven't you started the Battle Cats level yet? I came to the stream quite happy because I had spent the last 50 minutes doing my university reading decently productively, because I told myself to, get on and give that a go. So maybe it is just setting myself time to do things. I'm also desperately trying to, but I feel like not succeeding in reducing the amount of time I spend between doing things. Like the thing I said about the cups of tea, I feel like that's genuine. Like I do feel like half of my day is spent on that. I mean, I drink a lot of tea, but nonetheless, like the time it takes me to make a cup of tea is obscene, and it doesn't feel like I'm spending a long time on it. And I think it's these sort of negative space times where you're not particularly doing anything, you're in between doing things, that the time really disappears. Maybe my days could feel fuller if I actually got round to saying, I am doing this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So, after that really long aside, mate, before I have to end the stream, I mean, the parents have not rounded the stairs yet. I believe they're watching Sewing Bee at the moment, so we've got a few more minutes left. Educate me a little bit more about what's been happening in Overwatch and in Overwatch for you, mate.
Yeah, mate. So, did you hear about roll queue?
No, mate.
Well, because there was so much goats in the Overwatch League, the only way they could get rid of it was by locking teams to have 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and 2 supports.
Goats, mate.
Yeah, mate, goats.
I assume you don't mean like grass-eating, cheese and milk goats.
Mate, you've missed out on so much if you don't know what goats is.
Yeah, I know exactly. I felt like this when I recently went back to watching a bit of Pyrocynical. He was like talking about simps, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm out of the loop on this simp thing as well.
Yeah.
But basically, goats, mate. It was where you played Vinayhal, D.Va, Zarya, Lucio, your favourite hero Vegeta, and some other support like Zenyatta or Moira or that thing. So every team would have 3 tanks and 3 supports, and they would just run at each other, and everyone complained about it because they just couldn't kill goats.
I'm sorry, mate, for being a bit obtuse. Could you explain the concept of a goat to me again? I'm not quite sure I understood.
I mean, okay, it's actually named after the team that first did that, sort of, or popularised it. So that's why.
What was the? Sorry, mate.
That's why it's called the Goats.
I thought you said I've got to go.
So
a bit deaf.
No.
Right.
No,
so what did you? Yeah, no, sorry. What did you say the team structure was then?
You play 3 tanks and 3 supports, including like Lucio and Vegeta, and then you speed boost and just run at the enemy team and kill them all with massive amounts of damage and stuff, and use all your ults and stuff. Yeah.
So from what I can tell, mate, people were angry because a team came up with a winning strategy.
Yeah, and then it became the meta for, like 5 months or something. Well, no, longer than that. But yeah, pretty much most of the whole season.
Right.
And then they finally introduced 2-2-2 lot, so 2 DPS, 2 tanks, 2 support.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
So that you couldn't play goats anymore, basically.
I guess that's fair enough, but I mean, didn't Overwatch always solve those kinds of problems with balance changes?
Yeah, well, that's why I was always kind of opposed to roll queue and 2-2-2. But I think the other reason they did it was also because you just get those matches where you have 3 DPS or 4 DPS on one team, and you end up with horrible team comps. So.
Oh, what? You should have been Mercy. You should have played any kind of support. We ended up losing, and it's all your fault. You should learn how this game works.
Yeah. So now you can just queue for whatever roles you want to play.
Ah. I guess that's fair enough. I mean, I can't really give much of an opinion on Overwatch. I haven't been out of the loop for so long. So, any heroes after that, then, mate?
Yeah, mate. A couple more. So, there's one called Sigma.
Ooh.
He's got a shield, and he's got a suck. He can like suck things when people shoot at you. Like he's like, oh.
That sounds like if Lucio heard a bad piece of music.
Yeah.
Oh, not breaking that down.
He sucks up all the damage and it gives him shield and stuff. And he can also throw a bomb.
Oh.
And he can lift people up in the air and slam them down on the ground.
Good for him. He's
And
living his best life.
There's another hero called Baptiste who can.
Oh yes, I heard about this one.
Yeah.
Like Lucio.
Well, he doesn't speed.
Sorry, mate. He doesn't what? Sorry.
He doesn't speed.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. There's some similarity to Lucio. Like they're both musical lads or something. All right. Yeah.
Black.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You know, I don't know where I heard about this stuff, but I very vaguely remember about that. Unfortunately, mate, I'm gonna have to stop now.
Oh, that's so sad, mate.
But thank you for cluing me up on recent Overwatch developments, and you know, it goes to show just how clued in I'm able to be even when I haven't played it in years. I mean, you know, as I said, stop it, get some help, and Baptiste is Lucio. I mean, I'm the authority on Overwatch, basically. So, on that note, a final thing. Shouldn't you be doing things while making tea? I certainly, and I would recommend this to anyone who has like wireless headphones is best for it. Listen to podcasts, etc. when making my lunch. That makes the making of food less like, oh, I need to get this done, oh, I can't be bothered, I'll just have beans instead. And it makes that interesting and enjoyable, and you just listen to that while you do it. But I just feel like making tea shouldn't take that long. But maybe. The problem is that setting up the stuff for myself to listen to takes, or should take, as long as the making of the tea itself. I'm just not quite sure why it takes so insanely long. Hopefully I'll eventually get to doing it a little bit faster. What would be your piece of life advice to the chat, mate, before we go?
Oh boy, I don't know, mate. I usually just come up with life advice, like, I can't think of any life advice off the top of my head, mate.
Well, there's your piece of life advice. If you can't think of any life advice, don't fashion any out of thin air. There you go.
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant. And that could be almost where we end. I mean, we should have ended, I'm sure my parents will tell me, 4 minutes ago. But my final question that I'd like to ask you, mate, is if you are still playing Overwatch, or when you stopped anyway, around what SR, and I've genuinely forgotten what they're called, league were you in?
I am in Platinum, and well, now, mate, you see, we have different SR for each role.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
So I think for tank and support, I'm around like 2,600 or so, and for DPS, I'm only in gold, and I'm at like 2,200 or something like that.
Better than I ever did, mate. So congratulations. I'm still glad I got to silver once, so that was my crowning achievement. Not
that was good,
a 100% bronze scrub, but mostly Driftwood League. That was also a classic. Anyway, hopefully I'll be able to speak to you again, mate. I feel like this has been a success.
Mate, hang on. I need to say something. I think you'll like Valorant because it has a rank below bronze.
Brilliant. I like that. Thank you, mate. Hopefully I'll be able to speak to you in the near future. I very much enjoyed bringing back Thrilling Wednesday because actually, you know, as terrible as it sounds coming from a Battle Cats YouTuber, it's been nice to not play Battle Cats in the stream because I don't have to be constantly shouted at for not getting into a level, because when I'm just talking, there's no expectation to get into playing a level. So we'll definitely come around to doing this again. And, you know, if Wednesday suits you, mate, maybe we could have you round for a regular slot.
That's not a bad idea, mate. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we'll talk a bit more about that, I guess, in Discord and that. And I wish you and everyone else all the best of days until we see each other again. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.